So, I'm going to show you a concept now which is used within the sales process to speak about IT. And what's important about this following idea is two things. One of them is that we use the concept and the sales tool or sales aid 3 times within the process itself. So it is a repetitive sales tool which comes up again and again. The other important thing is that the way that I'm going to do this now is designed to be the way that salespeople would do this sitting at a table in front of their customer. There is a technique which is called pencil selling, which is the idea of building up an idea on a piece of paper for your customer in front of them. Yeah? And a lot of salespeople sell like this, or a lot of salespeople draw pictures on pieces of paper in order to explain their ideas better. And so this is one of those ideas as well. So, imagine you're the customer. Dear customer, I want to show you an example of the way that we sell. Yeah? Within our sales processes, we use a concept called the total solution landscape. The total solution landscape tries to look at the IT environment in its entirety. So to give a kind of holistic picture of what's happening in IT. So this bit up here represents the software, this bit represents the hardware, and this bit represents the services that are used to do these things. Yeah? Just for an example, you buy a laptop, yeah? And the laptop comes preloaded with an operating system and with 3 or 4 different pieces of software. And then you need to service it. Yeah? So if you look at that one laptop over the course of 3 years, you probably spend 3, 4, 5 full days reinstalling it, changing the operating system, installing new software, yeah? Sending it back to the manufacturer to get a repair done, adding new pieces of hardware, etc. You spend a lot of time with it. Sometimes you even spend a little bit of money on getting it fixed up and working properly. Yeah? So that's kind of an example of the total solution, how it fits with one system. Now you move into a company, they have got, 500 laptops. Those laptops all need to be installed with the same level of software, but those laptops come from different manufacturers, which means you need people with different skills who are able to service them. Yeah? There's, different departments need different software packages in order to do their job properly, and the whole thing starts becoming much, much more complex because there's not just the laptops, there's a server environment, there's cabling to link everything up, there's a wireless system involved as well, there are printers, there are handheld devices and mobiles, the hardware area starts looking very complex. All of the different types of software start looking very complex as well, especially if you're working in a manufacturing environment where they have design software, or a marketing environment where they have special, graphical packages of software in there to do their jobs as well. And the services piece is very important because this concept also describes what we call the total cost of computing. There is a principle that says if you look at the cost of hardware and services, software together, yeah. So you've got a cost price of your hardware and services, software at this stage. If you look at a 5-year period, your services are going to cost you 5 times the amount that you spend on this. Yeah. So services are much, much more valuable over time or costly to an organization than the hardware and software that they have. This is just product and implementation. This is keeping it all working and integrating it with everything else. That's why a lot of organizations at the moment are putting a lot of focus on their ability to do services around products, not just the products themselves. Okay? So now we have our sales concept, and we're going to use it 3 times. In step 1, or the early stages of the sale, we're going to use this concept to generate a list of all of the things that the client has in their environment. So we want a list of all of their hardware, a list of all of their software, and a list, to the best of our ability, of all of the services that they use to implement it and keep it going and keeping it rolling out. So for a small company with 25 people, this is not going to be a very difficult job. For a company with 25,000 people, you could spend 3 years creating this list. Yeah? However, the salesperson in the IT environment has a requirement, a behavioral requirement from themselves. I must understand the products of my customer. I must understand the product environment where my products will fit in. Because if I don't understand what they have, how can I offer them something that fits with what they have? How can I identify new opportunity? In step 4, we're going to use this same idea to create a bridge between the IT and the business. So we're going to use it to create a draft proposal so that the people in this organization can see the business uses of the opportunity or the products and services, and they could see the products themselves. Yeah? In stage 4 of the sales process, we need to bridge between people, between project-related people and business-related people. And we need to act as a dictionary, as some form of language pack, so that we can translate our language from IT to business. Yeah? There is an old story about the IT person who walks into the business room and can't understand anything that's going on, and vice versa, the business walking into the IT room and doesn't understand anything they hear. And sometimes it's the job of the salesperson to act as the interface and the translator for that. In step 5, we're going to use it to do something critically important. Yeah? We're going to use it to ask a whole bunch of questions. The amount of failed IT projects runs at 85%, which means 85% of all IT projects fail to reach their resource requirements, so they use more people and equipment than originally thought. They go over time, yeah, so they take a lot longer than was originally planned, or they cost more money than originally planned. Yeah? So you can have a very successful project that cost a little bit more than was originally tended. This problem begins in the sales process. So we're going to use the same concept to ask all of the questions that we need to ask to guarantee the eventual success of the project itself. So with this, we hope to differentiate ourselves from other sales organizations on the market, because we've got a plan. We've got a plan to our madness, and we've got an idea of how to speak about IT and IT solutions within an organization. In step 1, we make sure that we're going to propose the right opportunities and right products based on our knowledge of what they have. In step 4, we're going to make sure that the offering is right for the situation, bridge between IT and business. In step 5, we're going to guarantee the eventual success of the project itself. Okay, so that's the total solution landscape concept. From the perspective of pencil selling, yeah, the idea is that you begin with this picture, this idea of a picture in your mind, and then you build it up step by step. Yeah, so step 1, the box. Step 2, the different sections. Step 3, software, hardware, services, etc., etc. You draw a little bit, you turn, and you explain. You draw a little bit, you turn, and you explain. And in this way, you build up the story. It's a very effective way of creating quite a complex story in a way that's very, very easy to understand and to follow. Yeah? And this is what we'll practice on paper and pen. Yeah? Okay.